Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Jana Talk podcast. I'm really happy to have you here. Before we begin, I have a few questions, very important ones for you. Do you wake up early in the morning and do you already feel stressed? Do you feel like tight and pressure without even knowing why do you feel this pressure? Do you have problems or difficulties in the evening to relax before you go to bed to get relaxed? Or do you struggle with focus during the day? If you answer to one of the questions or all of the questions, yes, then this episode is just the best, the right for you, because we're going to speak about the power of mindfulness with my special guest. You can see here on my left side, Jan Andruszko. My special guest is a global director of product. He is a certified mindfulness facilitator. He is also a mentor. He is an entrepreneur with more than 14 years of experience of leaderships and management. His mission is to help entrepreneurs and specialists and professionals to help to reduce stress, to help to improve focus, and also find balance in their everyday life with finding micro habits and implementing it in their lives, both at work and also in personal life. He also is a founder of Andruszko Foundation. He is helping children from orphanages and he supports them. He's also founder of Andruszko Investment. We also going to speak about this. And today we will speak about what mindfulness actually is, how can it help us, what can we start to implement in our everyday life to finally find peace and balance and reduce stress as much as possible. So please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome my today's guest, Jan Andruszko. Hello, Jan.
Hello, Jana. Hello, everyone. And thank you very much for a great introduction. And thank you for inviting me to your podcast. I'm so glad to be here.
Very happy to see you and also to have you here because we saw each other last time. The last time it was May, right? So it's a long time no see. So how are you since then? How are you and how is your lovely family? Because you have really also nice kids, right?
Yes, thank you. So indeed, I do have two lovely daughters, which are sitting nearby me. So hopefully you will not be disturbed by the noise. Yeah, so I will try to remain mindful during our interview. Now I'm doing very fine, doing a lot of things as you mentioned. Yeah, but still trying to be present and to accomplish my mission, which is helping the people to live better. Yeah, that I try to do through my 3 areas.
Yeah, that's really amazing. And because stress is definitely everywhere, so it's only the way how we can start implement what habits and to be more mindful to reduce this as much as possible. For example, today I felt super. The few days ago I also felt super, but yesterday I don't know if there was a special pressure in the air, but I felt stressed from the very beginning of the morning. So I was thinking that it's perfect that we will be having this conversation.
Right.
Yes, that the less stress, the better. So, Jan, please tell me what and how did your journey start with mindfulness? When and how did it start?
Thank you, Anna. So it all started more than 14 years ago already when I was like a young leader aspiring to be a manager. And I was ambitious, always goal-oriented, and everyone was telling me Jan, you're on the fast-growing path for career. Now, I did believe that I do have things to distress and to spend some time with myself, and I was doing that by running. And I had one interesting interview with psychologists as a part of my manager skill program in my previous company. She told me Jan, are you really doing the running to distress yourself? I said, yes, of course. And she said okay, how long and how often do you run? And my answer was, I'm running about 4 or 5 times per week right now because I'm training for a marathon. Yeah, I want to beat 4 hours, which was my lifetime dream. And she said exactly. You're not doing running to distress yourself, but it's another goal, another burden that you put on your shoulders.
Yeah.
And then I realized, wow, Yes, indeed, that's a fact. Yeah, and like she drove me forward to the mindfulness. So I've bought a book with a CD program. So yes, it was a time when the CD trainings were available, and then I did like a full mindfulness-based stress reduction program for 8 weeks. And since 14 years, I practice every day, longer or shorter, but I do practice every day. And since more than 2 years, I also give trainings for the companies and for individuals just to share the knowledge and let people discover what mindfulness is.
Yeah, because one thing is to know what mindfulness is, but the other thing is to really implement it in everyday life, to really practice it. So it's really perfect that we were going to speak about this topic, which I feel really important is for everyone really who's watching or listening to today's episode. So how would you describe what really mindfulness is?
So mindfulness is ability of staying focused on the present moment without analyzing and judging ourselves on what has happened and what did not happen in the past, and without overthinking what can still happen today or the day after tomorrow, right? So it's the ability of being present, being aware of your body, of your mind, of your emotions, on what's happening here and right now. Yeah? To be more mindful of the people that are in front of us, being more aware of sometimes very beautiful things which are happening around us. And due to our very fast lifestyle, unfortunately, we tend to ignore them. Yeah, and at the very end, also being aware of how we do feel at the moment. Do I feel stress? Do I feel emotions? Yeah, and having the ability of observing that, being aware of that, this is the very first step to manage the stress, manage emotions, and feel better and be more present.
I love what you mentioned because I think that in today's really huge speed of everything, also with being digital, online, present all the time, every one of us, it's sometimes difficult to stay focused and really do only one thing, not to be multitasking, but really to be
Indeed.
focused on one single thing. You have mentioned how do we feel to observe our emotions. That's, I think, what I will say we because I believe that many people do it. I definitely am in this group. That's why I say we. That we tend to forget to ask ourselves or just to observe how do we really feel, and maybe we also might tend to push our limits more like forward without really stopping, making a break, and just feeling, observing nature, observing where we are. Why do you think it's like this? What we have, or the people?
Well, true. Well, each of us is individual, but I tend to say that this is really due to our current lifestyle because, mindfulness isn't something new. Yeah. Like the roots of mindfulness are 2000 years old. Yeah. Mindfulness have the roots in the Buddhism. Now, mindfulness was also practiced by Japanese samurais in the ancient Greek. Yeah. So it's not something which have been invented, 5 years ago and being promoted by Instagram influencers. So since beginning, the people needed really mindfulness. They were aware of that. So like we are not discovering something new, but due to very fast lifestyle, being focused on achieving our goals, multitasking, as you mentioned, yeah, like we lost this ability of being present.
Yeah.
Now, I like to compare mindfulness to a muscle. So it's really like a muscle that, when we are born as a children, I feel like we do have this mindfulness muscle because when I observe my children, how they react, what things they observe, how focused they can be, yeah, like it's just amazing. This is like a true mindfulness state. Later on, we go to school, we start working, we start to making our lives, and then we start our days by scrolling the social media, taking the shower, breakfast, running to the school with the children, running to the work for the first meeting, having the lunch, just running, yeah? Then finishing up the last meeting, rushing to pick up our children children, making shopping, going for some extra classes, doing some trainings, and so on. And suddenly, like, we just realized that this is like 10 p.m. already. The day has gone, and we went through the whole day through what I called autopilot, without even notifying what has happened. The day goes by, the week goes by, the month goes by, and suddenly you realize, whoa, it's Christmas already, right?
That's crazy what you are saying. But I spoke with somebody. Well, it was, I think, more people in the past, and we always tend to say, "Oh my God, the year passed so quickly by." I don't know. It was summer, and now it's winter. This happened. This conversation more times with more people. Somewhere I read an article, short article about why does the time pass so quickly, or why do we have this feeling that the more we get older, the more the time goes quicker. It's because you probably what you mentioned is the autopilot, that we stopped being present and we do things which we are used to without stopping or without making a break, and that's why the time seems to be quicker and quicker. Do you agree with this, or do you think also something else?
Absolutely, Jana. And like, I would say that autopilot is not that bad thing by itself. I think it's one of the key capabilities of our brain and our mind, because like I love to use the analogy of driving the car in your early days, like when you remind yourself when you're starting your driving courses and having a manual gearbox, right? And just thinking, being so focused, concentrated on different elements to be taken into account to decide whether I should move to the third gear or I should be still driving on the second one, and the vice versa. Nowadays, of course, some of the people do have the automatic gearbox, but even by driving with the manual gearbox, you can drive your car, you can, manage the conversation, you can listen to the podcast, and your mind, your brain is like receiving all the information without you being conscious about it and changing the gears. So like it's great capability, because we can learn the new things. The problem is where the people start to drive on this autopilot throughout the whole day. And being like keeping the analogy in the like automotive area, I like to compare mindfulness to the Tesla car functionality, where you do have the autopilot mode, but you can switch it on, but you can switch it off. And this is where I try to encourage the people, like, don't remove the autopilot. It's a great functionality, but learn how to turn it off, not to drive on the autopilot mode throughout all your day, all your life.
I love it. So do you have any cure or not cure, but the tips how to turn it off when we want to turn it off?
Well, generally there are like 3 techniques to turn off the autopilot, like the basic one. One is, of course, about some breathing exercises, which will help you stop and somehow just rediscover what is just happening around you. The second one is about making a little bit more conscious about the meals that you're eating. That's one of the jaw-dropping techniques that I practiced during the courses I made, that the people rediscover how great the meal can be, the taste, because again, like the people tend to say, I love the good food. But what does it mean? If you go to the restaurant, sometimes paying quite expensive bill, do you really remember what you have eaten? Do you remember the taste, the flavor, the smell? Or did you just spend the whole evening on just talking to someone else or scrolling your phone by having a meal? So that's one of the great mindfulness techniques, just to be more present, more aware when taking a cup of coffee during your day, like taking your lunch. And it's not about spending more time like celebrating the lunch. You can spend the same amount of time, but just being more concentrated on this one specific task. And the third tip that I would give, which I think is one of the basic ones, is to do things in contradiction to our habits. Because like autopilot creates the habits. And like I like to suggest the people, when you are driving to your workplace, the same road each day, each morning, try to change the route. Even if it's like 2 minutes longer, but like choose different street, yeah? Like get this 2-3 minutes more, but drive through the area that you have never been to, yeah? Or when you are always taking the same place on the canteen or in the meeting room, change it. You will notice how strange it would feel because you just changed your habits, your daily habits, and your brain will say to himself like, hey, come on, like it's something new. I need to learn that. So I'm stopping the autopilot mode because I need to learn something new. Yeah. So this is like one of the basic things that each of us can do to somehow switch off the autopilot. Just do something slightly different than you do each day.
I love these tips. Thank you so much for sharing. When you were mentioning the breathing techniques, definitely this is perfect. I was really surprised when you were saying when you were introducing the second tip regarding mindful eating, which I also strongly believe it's very important. But I was surprised that you also prepare food for your clients to be more present while eating. This is amazing.
Like we do it. Well, either we practice with a full meal or even we do it with like a single small fruit. Yeah. And the people are often confused, like, what is this all exercise with like small fruit? Yeah, what I should do that? And just by, smelling, tasting the flavor, observing, tasting, chewing slowly to really rediscover the flavor, they realize that, if they can take such benefits, such experience from that small and basic fruit, what else do they miss in their life? Yeah. And again, it's not about eating. Yeah. It's about really taking the full benefit of being present and of the amazing things that happens all around us.
Oh, I really love this exercise. I remember when we were in Spain and when we did this exercise with, something. Well, it was not the same. It was but similar with the fruit and with the lettuce. And I was shocked that I actually, when we saw the plates, I saw on many faces of those people that they were like, "This is my lunch. Oh my God!" And it was enough.
Absolutely. And that exercise was great experience. And I can tell you that in the past I was making a training for big companies, for the managers, and then we went for lunch together and everyone felt like, okay, so the training is over, we'll have a lunch. And I said to them, guys, let's keep this mindfulness practice, and I invite you to remain silent during our dish, because they had like amazing food. Yeah, the taste was just delicious, and I just invited them just to remain silent for like 30 minutes of eating. And like I had to stop the exercise after 15 minutes because I have seen that the people became so uncomfortable with remaining the silence without having like, typical business lunch talk and so on, that I had to stop it. And it's another proof of how much we are in the autopilot mode that, we cannot even let our brain concentrate on the meal and remain silent for 30 minutes.
Yeah, this is very crazy. I think, definitely people are not used to it. I was also surprised how I felt when we did something like this in Spain. And it was actually refreshing because it's only you and your mind and your focus on the things what you are exactly doing at the present moment. And it's at the beginning it might feel a little bit strange because your mind can be too loud, because you can really hear it if you don't meditate or if you don't do the exercises. And it's uncomfortable if the person is not used to it. But then it's really refreshing when you just I don't know, turn off everything and you just focus on one thing. It made me feel peaceful and calm during this exercise, and I felt really refreshed.
Indeed. And actually, you actually mentioned the quote of Steve Jobs, because not everyone knows that Steve Jobs was one of the biggest mindfulness fans, a very big mindfulness practitioner. going through his autobiography, yeah, he's saying how mindfulness helped him in like staying creative and concentrating while when building the Apple. And actually he said that mindfulness is not about religion, it's about really staying focused. It's an exercise for him as a physical exercise. And at the beginning it can feel a little bit strange, and it can even become even worse at the beginning, yeah, because suddenly you realize how your mind is distracted. Yeah, you become conscious how distracted you are, and it will make you feel very uncomfortable. Yeah, but during the time after practicing a couple of minutes, your brain will come down. Yeah, your mind will come down and become more focused.
Yeah, it's absolutely really great. What I tend to do, I now am more aware of it, and so I don't say I do it every time, but I reduce definitely the percentage. I was used to eat in front of my Netflix, watching different series and with action. I don't know, not everything was comedy. And when I felt stress, I found out that I'm eating more because I feel stressed from the situation which is in Netflix or in the series. And now I try to eat without watching Netflix, and so it's better. I feel better.
Absolutely. And Jana, I think you touched on a very great point, and on one of the misconceptions about mindfulness, because a lot of people, one of the key misconceptions that I hear from the people when speaking about mindfulness is that, well, I would love to practice mindfulness, but I have no time. Yeah, like because the people think that to practice mindfulness, I need to spend like an hour or 2 hours per day, and even like literally become a monk. You don't have to. Yeah, like this is where I try to help the people to somehow decode mindfulness that yes, it can be your lifestyle, it can be even your philosophy, but not all of us need that. Yeah, mindfulness can be all about making a very little steps, very small routines, as you mentioned. I just eat a lunch without watching TV and scrolling my mobile phone. Yeah, instead of waking up and taking my mobile phone straight away to see what has happened, I do a small breathing exercise. And this is how I work with my customers, trying to discover them and implement those micro habits, micro techniques in their life. And by doing those small steps, they achieve amazing results. Yeah. So again, mindfulness is like a muscle. When you go to the gym, it's counterproductive if you start practicing 2 hours per day daily. Yeah, you become overwhelmed, overstressed, and like you will have the counter results. But if you start with a very small steps, but in a consistent way, wow, there you can achieve magnificent results. And mindfulness isn't any different. Yeah, it's about taking the micro steps, micro habits that you implement in your daily life. But if you do it consistently, you achieve great results.
Perfect. So, Jan, what would you could you say tell us in short what major benefits does mindfulness have on our mental well-being, but also physical well-being? Or you also mentioned with Steve Jobs that it also helped him a lot to focus. So what all benefits does it have?
Sure. So one of the key benefits that the people link with the mindfulness is, of course, ability to relax yourself. And I try to give an example that sometimes if you have a good mindfulness routine, like a 10 or 15 minutes exercise at the end of the day, you can make you really feel like you spend a weekend away in the mountains. You can really distress yourself and feel relaxed. Yeah. The other point is, of course, the stress reduction. Right. So this is more linked to the health. Yeah. And by practicing mindfulness, you can really permanently reduce your stress level. Yeah. Same with the concentration. By staying more aware, like with this exercise, with the eating. Yeah. It's not only about the eating and enjoying your food, but learning the ability to concentrate on one thing only will help you later on in your tasks during your business day, by running your business or being in the office. Thanks to mindfulness, you can also increase the quality of your sleep. Yeah, by taking the good relaxation during the night, or when you wake up in the night and your brain start to again overthink, oh, I have to in 4 hours, I need to wake up and I need to send this email. Mindfulness would help you to get back to a proper sleep. Okay. And worth mentioning also from the business side, yeah, concentration, reduce stress, being able to make the right decisions and increase the creativity. You know, big companies like Google or Bosch implemented an obligatory mindfulness training for their leaders, yeah, because they see what is the impact on the employees' efficiency, yeah. Not to mention, of course, about reduce sick leaves of the employees linked to the mental health.
Oh my gosh, this is perfect.
Yes, and like I think one of the key benefits, like supported with the fact, is that according to the World Health Organization, mindfulness is the best way to prevent depression. And this is how actually mindfulness became present in the Western world. So in 1960s, the American psychologists have found that some of these Buddhism practices, which was actually the mindfulness, have a very positive influence on their patients with depression. And imagine that in 1960, actually following their research, they discovered that practicing mindfulness techniques has the same efficiency than, you know, taking some pills and chemistry. Yeah, it was on the same efficiency level, right? So we should take care about our mental health, and mindfulness is the best way to do it. Now, a lot of people ask me, does it work? Like, you know, I could spend few hours of presenting the data, like that it does work. There is a proof. But let's speak about the people practicing mindfulness. We mentioned about the Steve Jobs. Bill Gates, it's another very big mindfulness fan. If you look on the professional sports players like LeBron James, yeah, there are a lot of pictures or videos of LeBron James practicing mindfulness during the NBA game, right? When he's sitting on the bench and try to forget about some short failures and staying focused on what he still needs to do to support his team, right? And even in the army, yeah, mindfulness techniques is one of the key elements of the training of the Navy SEALs, so the Special US Forces, and of the British SAS. Yeah, so if you imagine those top performing people having very limited time, they wouldn't bother with mindfulness if it didn't work.
Yeah. I started a few years ago to implement in the morning because I was really stressed. I found out that I'm stressed during the day, even it was not obvious on me that people didn't see it. But I felt really stressed from work. I started to do in almost every day meditation, and then I have added to it also some exercises because I used to have problems with my back, so I do like this combination. And I have to say that after doing the meditation, my day is just different. It's better. It's like calmer. I don't have this internal stress, which I used to have. And when I do this exercise, it's like a completely different start of the day than when I don't do it. Then I feel stressed that I didn't do it as yesterday because of I don't know what reason. But it's really it make me feel much better. I'm like rooted, calmed down. And the way I start the day influences the rest of the day strongly.
Indeed. And I've read recently a quite interesting article from the Harvard Business Review saying that 90% of the world-class leaders do have their morning routine. Mindfulness is actually a part of it, yeah? And if you have a proper morning routine, which again, don't have to be an hour. It can be as easy as just 15 minutes by making some mindfulness exercises, by taking some physical exercises, with some micro habits like not taking your mobile phone straight away. But if you have a proper morning routine, then you can significantly reduce your stress and increase concentration for the whole day long. So it's like with the breakfast. If you have a proper quality breakfast in the morning, it will keep you energized and happy throughout the whole day.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have just you have touched the topic a bit regarding my question I wanted now to ask you. So what micro habits should we ideally implement from the very beginning of the day when after we wake up?
Sure. So the very first tip that I would give is don't take your mobile phone or unlock your mobile phone as the very first thing you do in the morning. Even if it's just about like looking who did call me in the night, what was the social media notification, even without like scrolling the phone, straight away your brain start to think and overthink about different things for the whole day long. So you already activate the autopilot mode that we discussed before. So leave the phone away. Okay, start with something for yourself, and it can be as easy as just taking like 5 deep breaths, okay, before you do anything else. Try to stretch a little bit, not mentioning about, making some yoga exercises, going to the gym, or go for a short run or jogging. That's magnificent. But if you don't have a time, just do a few stretch exercises, for your body, and ask yourself, what do I want to do today? 3 things that I would like to accomplish today, because that will give you a sense of pride and of sense that you are achieving your goals. And then go to your routine. Then you can unlock your mobile phones and take a shower, take a breakfast, but you already get out of the autopilot mode. You already started the day as you wish to have. Important thing is to plan this routine the day before, because a lot of people just say, okay, from tomorrow I will start waking up at 5 a.m. and then like I will see what I will do. That's not the best way to start, because when you wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning for the first time, of course you are sleepy, of course you are demotivated, you want to go to sleep back, and like if you don't have like a strong plan to do, you have no motivation to get up. If you plan it the day before, saying, okay, maybe I won't start my day at 5 a.m. I will maybe just wake up myself 15 minutes earlier than I do usually, and then I will do this breathing exercise, then I will do a bit of stretch, then I will, I don't know, even look on the flowers in my garden, anything for myself, or I will drink a coffee, but I will drink the coffee staying aware and mindful, just enjoying the taste and looking outside of my window instead of taking the coffee to go somewhere in between shower, breakfast, and waking up the children, right? So again, very small steps do matter, and you can build on those small steps, but making them consistently.
Consistency is really key in all parts of our life, right?
Indeed, right. And a lot of people, when we start working one-to-one with the people, like sometimes we do start it with like one session on which we try to make like a personal routine for that person, okay, and then this person like can start working on his own. But a lot of my customers are coming back to me saying, you know what, Jan, I would like maybe to change this session into more a mentoring, when we meet like once per week, each week for an hour, because it's much better for them just to keep consistent. Because when you see the benefits, your enthusiasm, your energy is raising up, right? But then the day after you go back to your routine, and it's really hard just to keep this consistency and motivation. So absolutely agreeing with you, consistency is the key.
I've realized that like I'm more nowadays, like since we returned, I think, from Spain, I'm more thinking about the consistency, that it's key in everything what we do. because we sometimes, or I used to do it definitely, that I wanted to do the change immediately and the big change, but of course the huge change doesn't happen in one day or overnight. But with small steps every single day, we get there very easily without even realizing how did it happen, because we do it on a regular basis.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm now thinking about these things. It can be implemented, I think, in relationships, in health, definitely. If anybody struggles with back pain as well, in back pain. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
What do majority of your clients struggle with when they come to you?
Speaking about my customers, those are mainly the business owners or the managers, but even everyone of course can attend the mentoring, but there's one common thing in like across all my customers. All of them do have the problem to somehow switch off the mind
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, if you are a business owner running your business for 12 hours per day, or you spend your time at home and you just take care about your 3 children, it's so difficult to somehow relax and calm your mind in the evening, again, without judging yourself on what you have done, what you haven't done, and without like thinking, oh, I still need to do that before going to sleep. Right? So that's something very much in common where mindfulness definitely helps. Now, then the people are very different, I must say. Yeah, some of the people ask me for help in stress reduction, but not the permanent one. But for example, when they do a public speaking. Yeah, when they are like directors, managers, they're running town halls or presentation in front of the customers. Some of them tell me like, Jan, I do that since 3 years already, so I do have experience, but I do feel the same stress than I felt 3 years ago. Yeah, and sometimes they already have some physical symptoms. Yeah, like back pains, problems with the stomach, problems with digestion, just because of the stress. And then we try to tailor the program really oriented on or really focused on getting the stress at a certain point of time to have like a fast distressing method. Some of the people do have the problem of being concentrated. So this is where we work mainly on this morning routine. Yeah, how not to get distracted straight from the morning, or how to like regain this concentration during the day to avoid multitasking, to be more efficient and more concentrated. And some of the people do have the problems more in the evening in terms of the sleeping. Yeah, so they're saying, okay, like I do this and that, but then when I go to the bed, even if I'm sleepy, I cannot fall asleep. Yeah, and like I struggle for 2 hours before getting to sleep. So then we tailor the program more oriented for like good quality sleeping. So what I want to say is that yes, there are things in common between all of us, but at the end of the day, each of us is different. And this is where I try to help my customers, is to propose them really a tailored program to their, firstly, challenges, personal abilities and preferences, because not everyone likes breathing techniques, and mindfulness is not only about the breathing. Yeah, so you can choose some techniques that the people can like and then adapt them to the daily routine. Because as we've mentioned, like we can speak about like whole bunch of very powerful, efficient exercises that we can practice all together, but if the person is not able to do them in the daily routine, that's senseless. That will become even counterproductive, because the people get like distracted or demotivated, that they don't see the effects. Yeah, so we try to tailor it also to match it with the daily routine. If the person has more time in the morning, if he has like a hybrid mode of work and he can do some exercises during the day, or it's more about the evening routine. So we really try to tailor the program, the mindfulness techniques for the person, because each of us have different challenges.
I love what you do. Really, it's
Thank you.
When you were saying that the common point from the managers or from your clients is that they cannot switch off, I remember that there was a time also thinking about different projects at work that I had some difficulties with this too. And it was really crazy, because I remember when I wanted to go to bed, my mind was still on, thinking about work, about the tasks, about how to do something, well, to finalize the project, the launches. So and it was really crazy. Then of course it influenced the quality of sleep. I felt in the morning tired, exhausted. So it's perfect what you do, because like preventing this is the base of each day to feel energized.
That's true. That's true. And let's be honest, not many of us have the comfort to finish their work at 4 p.m., just close the PC, go out of the office and enjoy their day, right? It's a little bit mixed right now, especially for the people having a hybrid mode of work, people working at home office. It's very easy just to mix your like personal life, your family life, your work life, and suddenly you realize that you think about the work the whole day. So again, there is no silver bullet for that. There's again some micro habits to do that. Like I do have some techniques that I suggest my customers to do, like in between the work and the house and the home. Yeah, literally something that you can do during 3 minutes when you drive with your car at home, but you don't get out of your car, but you do a small technique just to like realize, okay, job is finished, now it's my work and now it's my home and family, right? The other thing that I do suggest, it has nothing to do with mindfulness, but this is like my personal trick that I do that I can suggest to everyone. As I work mainly from home, I do change my clothes. It's very funny. So like during my business day, I try, well, I usually dress more formally, but when I know that, okay, right now is the end of my working day, I just change the clothes to less formal ones. And that gives the sense, the information to my mind, yeah, that the work is over. Now is the time for my children and for myself.
That's perfect. That's perfect, because you program your mind that so there is a change of the day, of the routine. Now you have time for your kids and for your wife. Super trick. And also, what do you think about writing tasks down before going to sleep? Because that's what helped me to put everything down. Since then, it's like since Mentos, when I was responsible for this brand. So it's I don't know, 10 years ago, something like this, or 8 years ago, I started to implement it, that I put my tasks or everything what I had in my mind, what stressed me down, I put it down on the sheet of paper, on a notebook. And then I really felt that I can really rest. I can relax during the night or evening time, because I have everything in a safe place in a notebook.
Absolutely, Jana, and thank you very much for sharing that. That is one of my favorite techniques, and I use it especially for what I call Sunday evening syndrome that a lot of us has, right? It's still Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, yeah, and we still say to ourselves, oh, it's sunny, it's nice, and so on, but our brain starts already to switch on the autopilot. What do I have to do tomorrow, Monday morning, straight away, right? And the technique that you mentioned, just take like even 5 minutes, sit down and write down everything that you have to do. Yeah, it really distresses your mind, because then your brain becomes comfortable that it's all right to forget about it because it's written down. Yeah, and it calms you down. Important thing is to really write it down, as you mentioned, not to repeat it to yourself, because if you repeat it to yourself, well, you still need to think about it, right? But if you write it down, especially if you do it with a pen and paper, okay, it can be a tablet, but no writing on the mobile phone, no writing on the laptop, just pen and paper, so that you also activate, your muscles, yeah? So your physical contact, that's again another sense for your brain that everything is all right. You can calm down, just write it down. That's all right. That's for tomorrow. That's for Tuesday. And now you still have a couple of hours to enjoy your day.
Good, I love it. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's psychologically, it's interesting that you only put it to the sheet of paper, or you write it down, but it really helped me to calm down and to get rest in the evening, because before I struggled with really what you mentioned with your clients, with the managers, that the common point that they cannot really switch off when they go to bed, and it's so uncomfortable feeling when you are lying in your bed and you cannot just close your eyes or sleep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so this is, I'm happy that you also like this technique. Is there any other technique we can start to implement in the evening before we go to bed to have more relaxed night?
Sure. Well, there is a great technique which is called a body scan or a body scanner. Like everyone can just type on the YouTube or on Spotify body scanner. It's an exercise which is better to do in the guided mode, first of all. Like by starting, it can take you from like 10 minutes up to the 40 minutes. And I can confess you, Jana, since more than 2 years, I do this exercise during my corporate trainings, and never ever I didn't have a training where at least one person didn't fall asleep. Right, so I keep this passion. So each time when I do this, and like, think about it, we are not doing this exercise in like, lying on the bed. The people are on the floor, sometimes they're sitting, but usually they're in a hotel or they're even in their office. Yeah, but making this exercise, it made them feel so relaxed that they just immediately fallen asleep. Yeah, some of them has even started to snore, so like we have to like wake them up a little bit, yeah, because they are disturbing the others. But it's just showing how efficient it is, yeah. Like if you can fall asleep like after 10 minutes at the office by doing this exercise, just think about efficiency if you are lying on your bed, peace and mindful in the evening, you turn off the light, and then you practice the body scanner. Yeah, so just type body scanner in the Spotify or YouTube, and you can definitely do that. One other, again, micro step is avoid, of course, avoid contact with any screens for at least 30 minutes before going to sleep. Right? So like I don't say stop watching TV in the evening. Yeah, I also do that. Yeah, like I love I love some Netflix series. I love to do that and spend some evening with my wife when the children are asleep finally. But then I don't go immediately to bed. And even if it's late, yeah, very late, and I'm tired, I still, read at least a book for 15 minutes. I do a short exercise. It's to really calm down my brain, calm down my eyes. And I know that, this 15 or 20 minutes more that, I could like go to sleep straight away. But by spending this 20 minutes without the contact with like, blue light from a screen, yeah, by reading the book, making the exercise, I know that my sleep will be much better in terms of the quality.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing this. You have mentioned family, the topic family, because many people who are watching or listening to today's episode, they have families, kids, wives, husbands. How to implement those micro habits in the evening, but also in the morning when you have kids who wake up early in the morning and it's difficult to not to take care of them.
That's a very great point. So, like for me, it's easy because anyway, I wake up at 5 a.m. each day. So even if my children, yes, do wake up quite early, still it's not 5 a.m. Yeah, so I still do have some time for myself. But for example, during the weekends when like I allow myself to sleep a little bit more to recover after an intensive week, like I had this open conversation with my two daughters. Yeah, they are 5 and 10 years old. And I do tell them, like, girls, like, daddy need to make some mindfulness exercise, the breathing exercise, so they know already what mindfulness is. And I need that this 10 minutes for myself, yeah, to smile more during the day, to be more happy, not to get angry, not to shout too much. Is it all right? And of course they say yes, yeah. And I wouldn't say that they don't disturb me because sometimes they do. They are children, of course, but like it helped me to create this type of space for myself that, even if they're awake, they're doing some other things, I can go to another room and just have this 10 minutes for myself. Yeah. So I think we just have to be very open with our children. We don't have to find like, perfect time, perfect space, like we don't have to go to the forest, the mountains to meditate. Just start with what you have already.
Oh, I like that you speak with them, talk to them about also your routine and that they are really okay. So what do kids do when they are not sleeping, when you have when you do the special routine, for example, in the morning?
Well, they do try to do their own stuff, yeah. So either they're playing with the books. Of course, they also watch the TV, yeah. Like, I'm not, the wonderful parent, and of course, sometimes I do turn on their TV just for 10 minutes because I need to make a call or I need to meditate, yeah. So that's also a nice thing to do, but it lasts for like 15 minutes, not 2 hours. But sometimes we do practice together. I'm not saying that all the time, and I wouldn't boast that, okay, my two daughters are like completely mindful. No, they are not. They are children, and they get anxious very often. They get angry. They scream on each other. They even sometimes fight. Those are children, right? But I try to teach them, yeah, the small mindfulness techniques because I'm sure that they will profit from that when they will really need it, like in the future before the exam or before even making some small theater in the kindergarten. Yeah, my daughter told me that she admitted that like she took like 3 breaths before making a theater in front of the parents when she was like 4 years old. That's magnificent. That's so crazy. And like one day even when she got very angry because she hurt herself and she started like screaming, shouting, be very aggressive, and then she went out by herself. And suddenly I said to my wife, where is our daughter? Yeah, like, where is she? I cannot listen. I cannot hear her. And she went out of the house, yeah, sit on the floor and just meditate for a couple of seconds. That was just amazing. Yeah, of course, it doesn't happen too often. It was one time, yeah, but like, especially in some private schools, they do have extra mindfulness classes for the children to teach them from the very beginning, yeah, how important it is. Like, it's another ability. Like, if you learn to write, you learn to sing, for example, you can also learn to breathe, because later on, when you'll be a teenager, you will have much very stressful moments in your life, full of emotions. It can help you. Not to mention about the times when you are grown up, you are a manager, and then there are no jokes, yeah, because of the stress and anxiety and all other things. Like, you can easily get to depression, yeah. So this is why I really believe it's so important to show some mindfulness technique to the children. And I can also give you one tip. There is one exercise which is called children spaghetti, yeah, which is very nice. Or there is another one breathing exercise which is a frog exercise. Very easy and simple, when we just try to behave like a frogs. Yeah, so the frog remain silent, the frog remain seated in one place to catch a fly. Yeah, so for a couple of seconds we are frogs, and to catch the fly, to eat our breakfast, we have to remain silent and keep still for a couple of seconds. So easy, yeah, but you can learn a very good practices to the children from the beginning.
Perfect. I wanted to ask you, if someone has kids, how to teach them also to be more present and mindful. And you have just answered my not mentioned questions, so which is really amazing, because everyone who has kids can start to implement these little games to teach kids.
Yeah.
I really love it, because then what also your daughter showed, amazing example, that she went by herself outside and she meditated for a few seconds or minutes and she calmed down. It's perfect. You must be proud of your daughters together with your wife.
Of course I am, every day. No matter what they do, I am always proud of them, yeah? And again, I want to emphasize, don't think or don't expect that the results, the effects will come straight away. Again, this behavior of my daughter was just one time, yeah? And like, it doesn't happen each time when she get anxious, right? Or full of emotions. Again, those are children. But, I always follow the rule that you lead by example. Yeah, in the company, in the work, but also in the home. Yeah, like, I like to grow my children up by giving them the example. So if they see that the dad having a very limited time, but still he do practice some breathing exercises, yeah, even if they are not practicing this right now, yeah, they will remember about it and they will come back to that when they really need it.
Love it. Do you think mindfulness can also help leadership? to improve leadership?
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great point, because a lot of people think about mindfulness in terms of like their personal life, distress, relax, get a better sleep. But actually, mindfulness is super efficient in terms of the business. So it helps the leaders to become more self-aware, also in terms of emotions, of stress. And it is very important not only when public speaking, or giving some presentation, which sometimes is great, but because of the stress, it doesn't go the way that you would like it to go. But also in terms of the team management, that some of the people just get very anxious with their team members because they're asking them for some things where the people are like very much busy. Or mindfulness is extremely useful when managing the team and really feel what the problems are. Because when I speak with my employees, like I can really reflect to what they try to tell me, even if they are saying that everything is cool, everything is perfect, like thanks to being really mindful and just like not only listening to what the words are, but also to what he behaves, what he tries to tell me. Like sometimes I can just notice that, well, even if it sounds great, it is not, there is a problem underneath, and it helped me to solve some problems, challenges within the team, between the team members, just before anything blowed up. So that's another example when we can use it. Concentration, we've already spoke about it. And then being a world-class leader, it's still all about getting distress and just relax and recharge your batteries. Nowadays it's all about energy. If you don't have the right level of energy, you won't lead the people. Like you can try to lead the people, but they will never ever follow you. And keeping the energy at a very high level also do require from you to recharge your batteries. And making a mindfulness exercise in the evening, have a proper sleep, it's of course far better and more healthy than taking a drink in the evening, that some of the top class leaders are doing.
Really great. I totally agree with what you have mentioned. When you say recharge batteries, I think mindfulness also strongly is connected with boundaries and limits. Or what do you think about it? To have also personal life and work life, like to have the balance. How to set up the balance in the life, so the both parts are really we are fully present in both work and also in our personal life.
That's a great question. And this is why actually mindfulness is one of the key elements of many well-being programs in the companies, because there is an expectation from the employees, especially the younger ones, that their work-life balance would be respected and that the employer will really take care about it. And this is where the mindfulness training takes place. So again, there's no silver bullet solution, because the work-life balance, I always say it also to my team, to my employees, to my team members, that no one can establish the work-life balance for you except yourself. You have to take care about yourself. You have to set your own boundaries. But where mindfulness is helpful is to really set those boundaries by being aware of what's happening. That somehow I realize that, it's 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. and, I'm still writing the email, or I'm spending the time with my children in the evening, but I still scroll my emails. Like without anything urgent to be done, but I'm just scrolling to be updated, before the day after starts. So this is where your work-life balance is affected. So mindfulness can help you to become much more conscious about what you are doing at each time of the day, okay? And then also to make these boundaries in terms of, okay, I finished my work, I try to concentrate on myself. I do maybe even a short breathing exercise. Okay, then I'm grounded. This is my time for the family. Okay, I still need to send one email, but I will do it at 9 p.m. when my children will go to sleep. Right now is the time for me. Right now is the time for my family and not for work.
Yeah. I like how you are thinking about the priorities and really focused, because then when we are on the mobile phone scrolling emails, Outlook, and then still being with our partners, we are definitely not present with them. So, or with kids. So it's really great what you are mentioning. And also kids can feel it too, right? When you are with them, but you are scrolling the mobile phone. They are really very sensitive.
Yes, and again, coming back to what we said in the past, that you are growing your children by an example. Like,
Yeah.
if you, as a parent, yeah, you use your mobile phone while eating, while spending the time with the children, now guess what will happen when they will have their own mobile phones? Yeah, like, and we also very often complain with our wife when we are going for the holidays, and like our older daughter is spending the time with her friends, and they are spending the time on the mobile phones. Yeah, and we tell them, like, girls, there's so many nice things to happen. Go for a stroll, yeah, do something together, leave the mobile phones. But then we also we talk with our wife. Well, are we a very good example to them? Yeah, because sometimes, like, we do use our mobile phones as well, like being present with them. So, like, we are not perfect either. Yeah, so of course we are not perfect. We try to improve, but the very first important thing is to realize that how you behave really matters, because the children follow us.
Yeah, absolutely. When you mentioned your wife, what about relationship? How can we start implementing mindfulness to our relationships? I mean, personal relationships.
Sure, that's a great point. Well, again, in mindfulness, it's all about being present and also feel emotions. And I'm not saying about the emotions only of yourself, but also of another person, right? And of course, we can make a lot of jokes when your wife tell you no, and actually she thinks yes, or tell you I don't need anything from the shop, and then she complains that you haven't bought anything from her. Yeah, like, those are funny things, but uh, and of course vice versa. But it's really about also understanding the emotions of your counterpart, of your husband, of your wife. And a lot of people feel like, oh, it's about the empathy. I don't have the empathy. Well, empathy is not something that we are born with. Yeah, we can train the empathy, yeah, by just practicing. And again, training your mindfulness muscle each day, yeah, will not help you when you practice only, right? If you, like, strengthen your mindfulness muscle, yeah, it can be useful throughout the whole day, yeah, and you can be more present, more mindful when your partner is, complaining something to you, or is just, telling you a story, yeah, which sometimes it's emotional and there is like a problem behind it, but it's like not really visible on the words, but it's really visible with emotions behind those words.
Yeah.
So this is where basically mindfulness can really help you to have a proper high quality relationship.
When a client comes first to you, to your office, or to you when you meet him or her, what do you first look at? Or what do you want to know first from him or her? How does their lifestyle look like? What do they do? Or
Yeah, like, it's very interesting, because, like, when I have the consultation with my customers, of course I do have some questions to ask them, to really go a little bit deeper to understand, but most of the cases they are not needed, because, like, with the very first question, like, what was your motivation to attend this consultation, they immediately start speaking and describing their whole life, which again shows me that it's not about having the problem or the challenges, yeah, but we do have emotions, we do need mindfulness, but again, a lot of us are just like keeping this inside of ourselves, yeah, and then when we have a counterpartner to speak about it, and very often we do not know our customers each other at all, and suddenly, just after 3-4 minutes of conversation and knowing ourselves, they open themselves and they just describe their whole life and the challenges on their personal life, work life, intermarriage, and so on. So again, it shows me that a lot of us do have those challenges, and it's not bad. Each of us has their challenges. So just get help get mindfulness to help you, rather than keep everything into yourself, because it can end up with broken relationship, it can end up with burnout, it can end up even with depression, right? Which is nowadays very often, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, I try to understand not only what are the challenges of my customers, but also what he can do in his daily life. Because again, each of us is very different, and we cannot judge or analyze everyone in the same matter.
Yeah, and can you see similar patterns in your clients or in people's lives? What they do this similar way at work and also in their personal relationship? Because sometimes it happens that when we influence one part of our life, I mean, not only like work and life, but like more parts, health, and I don't know. Then also it starts to improve other parts immediately. So do you see by your clients or by people some common parts, common things that they tend to do at work and also in their relationships?
Well, absolutely, Jana. Yeah, each of our life areas is interconnected. We cannot say that, oh, I'm a super calm person at my work, but I have a problem in my private life because I shout, I get angry. No, everything is connected. Yeah. So the reason why you are staying calm at work is not because you are so relaxed, but you are accumulating the stress over the day, and then it blows up when you come back home.
Oh, that's not
Yeah?
yeah.
So everything is interconnected, and if you manage to achieve the state of mind to be relaxed, be concentrated, still to be engaged. It's not about losing engagement. It's about remaining even more engagement, but not taking things personally and getting things in a much more calm manner. If you learn how to do it at home, obviously you will do that at work. And the vice versa, If you learn to take, for example, calm decisions in your business, you'll take the same good quality decisions in your private life, So this is why I say just mindfulness can impact each area of your life, and everything is interconnected, because if you don't have a proper sleep in the night, good quality sleep, then it's affecting your efficiency the day after at your work. And then it's affecting you being much more anxious and stressed when, for example, spending the time with the children. So everything is interconnected. And this is where a big benefits of mindfulness comes, because if you do a small changes, you don't see those effects only one area of your life. Actually, you see it everywhere.
Perfect. Do you think, why do you think so many people in the whole planet actually suffer from depression, and many also young people had or suffered by burnout, experienced burnout?
Yeah, well, that's a very hard topic. And speaking with the numbers, according to the World Health Organization, till 2030, so we are still just 5 years before that, depression will be top one disease worldwide. Top one disease, it will even overcome the cancer worldwide. So that's just really shocking and jaw-dropping. Now, in terms of the burnout, I read some statistics last week that in Poland, 80% of the employees in Poland suffer from at least one of the key symptoms of the burnout. Okay, so those numbers are really shocking when you really try to recalculate it on your scale. So, of course, unfortunately, it's linked with our lifestyle, chasing the new things, keeping emotions inside you. Well, a lot of that is coming from how we were programmed at the childhood. Unfortunately, a lot of us didn't learn any techniques about distressing, how stress can impact your life. A lot of us were just teach go for it, achieve your goals no matter what. Just go for it in 100%. And that's important. We have to remain ambitious, we have to chase our goals, but we have to take care also about ourselves. That has to be balanced. And I think nowadays, at least what I observed in Europe, a lot of us do pay attention, a lot of attention to our physical health, right? Each of us try to do some sport activities. Yeah, it doesn't have to be marathon running. It can be so simple as having a stroll, a short walk once per week. Yeah, with the dog. That's great. Yeah, but like we do it intentionally. Secondly, each of us try to pay attention to the food that we eat. Yeah, even if we don't follow any special diet regime, okay, at least we try to limit the fats, we try to reduce the sugar and so on. Yeah, like we do it much more consciously because we know how important it is to pay attention, yeah, about our physical health. And what mindfulness does, it takes care about our mental health. And mental health and physical health are again interconnected, right? And like both can influence the other one in a positive manner. So this is, I think, something that we still need to take care of. Yeah, that it's great that we take care about our physical health, but think about the mental health. And mental health is, I feel, still a very big taboo topic. Yeah, especially amongst the men, right?
Yeah, mental health. I think what I observed is that what we think, or well, our mind is really powerful. When whatever we think about any situation, it influences the outcome. And well, it's like theory, but actually in reality, in real life, many illnesses, quite also injuries, I believe are previously done, or how to call it, how to say it in English, by the state of mind. We call it in Czech psychosomatic. For example, when you have back pain, because I was struggling with back pain, so I'm saying this example, that majority or many cases of the back pain, many percentages are caused by psychosomatic, by the mental well-being, how the person feels inside. So it's really, I feel it's really maybe more important to think about how do we feel, when do we feel stressed, how to prevent stress, and to think about those situations more and more. Because then when it appears, these illnesses or these pains, it's really crazy to get rid of it. So
Absolutely, absolutely, and like we have to be aware of that. Like I can share with you one story. Like I think 2 months ago, I was flying back from Philippines, from Manila, yeah, back to Europe. So it was like a flight Manila Amsterdam, about 12 hours of flight, yeah, in the business class. And of course it was comfortable, and like myself in the business class on such directions, there were mainly some executive directors, big business owners, CEOs, and so on. And like I did have my routine, okay, to watch a film, take a meal, take a glass of wine, read a book, and then go to sleep, okay. And it was like Friday night flight, so the weekend was already there. And like I couldn't believe when watching the other people there. Of course, not all of them, but some of the people like just work out all 12 hours long because they couldn't just disconnect from their work. Yeah, some of them had to drink like almost 2 bottles of wines just to be able to get a sleep, right? And it's not only like linked with like sleeping in the plane, yeah, because let's be honest, the business class you can sleep quite comfortably, especially if you are tired. Some of the people were even like screaming through the sleep, yeah. So like it's just shocking, yeah. And those people are really successful people, but if you imagine what price do they pay for this success, yeah, you start realizing how important it is to take care about your mental health at the early stage of your career. Yeah, like I was lucky enough that someone showed me mindfulness before I became a manager, and that really helped me to build my career, my business, my relationship already using mindfulness. Yeah, some of the people didn't have this luck, but it just shows how important it is to implement some mindfulness techniques if you really want to be successful in your life, no matter what you want to achieve.
yes. Great example, especially in the plane, because then, people show, well, people do, I think, naturally the habits which they are used to, without thinking, when they are in these places, these occasions. So, before we close up, I have a few more questions for you. Is there any possible way how to measure that we are successful, that we are better in mindfulness, in the technique? Can we measure it somehow?
Yes, there is. I'm an engineer, yeah, from my background. So like I like figures, I like KPIs, yeah. So indeed, there is a technique which I do practice with my customers called brief counting, and everyone can practice that. It's very simple. You just sit down, close your eyes, and try to concentrate on breathing and count your breaths. Right? And the tricky part is that, okay, you breathe 1, 2, 3, 4, but suddenly you realize that your brain gets distracted. Your brain starts the autopilot to think about, okay, it's good, but I still need to send this email. Oh, I hope my children behaved well at the school, and so on and so on. Yeah. And then you come back, if you realize that, you go back to the counting, but you start counting from 1. Okay, and this is very easy but very powerful exercise, because not only it helps you to strengthen your mindfulness muscle, not only is a great tool to remain concentrated, okay, to increase your concentration level, but also it serves you like an indicator how mindful you are during that day. And even me, I do have the days where I can count easily to 50 or even over without being distracted. But I do have the days where I cannot exceed 10. Despite my 14 years of practice experience, I cannot exceed 10. And this is where I realize myself, oh, there is something wrong. Maybe I planned too many things for the day. Maybe I have to postpone something. Maybe I should do a little bit less, because my brain gives me the information that this is too much. If I cannot concentrate for 10 seconds on my breathing, how can I be a successful director? How I can be a successful business owner? How I can be a good father? Right? So this is a very good, powerful exercise, not only to increase our mindfulness level, but also as an indicator, how do I feel today?
Yeah, really like. Can we do a little exercise for 2, max 3 minutes with breathing together?
Sure. Let me think about, can we maybe let's make this brief counting. Yeah, because we mentioned about it, and I think it's one of the simplest and basic tools that each of us can do it. Okay? So, Jana, I invite you to close your eyes, sit down comfortably on your chair, try to relax yourself a little bit, get comfy, concentrate on your breath for a couple of seconds. Just observe how you breathe in, how you breathe out. Don't accelerate, don't slow down your breathing. It will adjust by itself. And when you are ready, start counting your breaths silently in your mind. So you breathe in, 1, you breathe out. You breathe in, 2, you breathe out. And please continue by yourself counting the breaths in your mind. When your mind gets distracted, thinking about what you still need to do today, just notice that, be gentle to yourself, and get back to counting from 1. Get back to counting whenever your brain gets distracted. But remember to be gentle to yourself. Thank you very much. You can open your eyes.
Thank you very much. I feel rejuvenated.
How was it? Was it difficult or easy?
It was nice. You have nice calm voice. I think number 15 I said to myself in my mind twice probably, but then it was really great, like calming down exercise, really nice. I think I went to number 19, but number 15 was probably twice. But I like it calmed me down for sure, and relaxed. I relaxed by it, and even I had closed eyes, I saw golden color around my eyes somewhere.
Great. And it can be as simple as like 2 minutes of an exercise up to 10, even 15 minutes. So you can just set up your alarm clock for 10 minutes, not to think about it, and just practice. And if you do that in the morning before you take your mobile phone, wow, that will be one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself, for not only your mental health, but also in terms of your efficiency and concentration for all day long.
Jan, thank you very much for this amazing exercise. I'm really happy you showed me this exercise and we done it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any message you would like to share with people who are watching or listening to today's episode?
Thank you, Jana. Well, yes, I do. Yeah, I would like to really encourage you to take care about your mental health. Okay, we've spoken about depression, we've spoken about the burnout, but we also spoken about being mindful and staying more present with your family. Yeah, handling your emotions better. We spoke about running your business, your company more efficiently thanks to the mindfulness techniques. So just get started. As we emphasize, consistency is a key. You don't have to become a mindfulness monk straight away. Yeah, there are small steps, small exercises that you can do daily to achieve great results. And if you find it helpful for yourself, I'll be very happy to help each of you through a free consultation to help you find some exercises adapted to yourself. Yeah, just start.
Yeah, thank you very much for being here, for your amazing tips, for your time and amazing energy, and thank you really much for today.
Thank you very much, Jana. It was a pleasure for me. Thank you very much once again for inviting me. And yeah, hopefully to see you soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, and I thank you for being part of today's episode. You heard and you saw really amazing tips from Jan Andruszko, Global Director of Product, certified mindfulness facilitator, mentor, and entrepreneur with more than 14 years of experience. So I hope that this episode inspired you. If you have any friend who definitely needs also to calm down during stressful days and also to feel more relaxed before going to bed, to feel more rejuvenated and energized, then feel free to share this episode to them so they can also see these valuable tips. Thank you for following a podcast, Jana Talk, and I will be looking forward to seeing you next Sunday, next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.